Evening team, welcome to Fix It Friday Q&A. Oh my goodness, it suddenly got cold. I'm really cold. Just ran and got the heating put on because I'm freezing. How are you doing? How's your week been? We're at the end of another week, right? And tomorrow is a new month. So the first quarter of the year is gone. Have you achieved your goals? Have you done what you planned to do? Or have you been a bit stuck and not really managing to achieve what you want to achieve for this year so far? All is not lost. We still have time. You can still start a new month and reset whatever it is you're planning to do around life, career, health. You've still got time to do it. All right, let's get into it, team, because it's Friday night, right? You want to get your Friday night started. Remember, if you're on the StreamYard, so if you're on the Facebook, then let StreamYard know your name. Give it permission to know your name. So if you pop up and say, hi, I can see. And this is a Q&A, so you can post any questions as well. But what I'm going to do is go through some questions that I've had over this week, over last week, the ones I didn't cover off too. Okay, first up, one of the questions I had was around using supplements to prevent muscle loss. So this was a question about casein, which some of you might not know is a supplement. And I was asked about the use of it because apparently to prevent muscle loss. So the question I actually got is, what do you think about using casein? And I was like, well, what is your motivation behind it? What is the problem you want to solve? Which is always a question asked with any kind of supplements, whether it's vitamins, minerals, or protein-based or otherwise. And the response back was around muscle loss as we get older. Now, as females, muscle loss as we get older is definitely a challenge, especially when we go through perimenopause and menopause. You guys will hear me talk about this all the time. And what I would say is for trying to have natural supplementation. So try and use things that are going to help your body in a healthy, productive way. Now, I'm not saying a supplement like casein isn't healthy, but I do think we get stuck on buying these tubs of supplements, protein shakes, liquid things to help. And it's like, well, actually, let's look at what we're doing first of all to prevent muscle loss. So are we doing weight training? So are we doing weight bearing? So it can either be body weight, depending on where you're at, or it could be with weights. So start off with body weight and then weights, because actually that whole piece around your muscles and getting them to build is what's going to help. So building your muscle bank by training body weight or with weights, depending where you're at, can help with muscle loss. And as sooner you start that, then the more muscle you'll have in your muscle bank as we age and as we go through menopause, and it's harder for us females to build muscle. And you might be thinking, oh, I don't want to look like a man. It's not physiologically possible. A lot of the bikini models you see go on extreme diets, really strict training regimes, and some of them aren't all natural, so they may be using things like steroids too. So there's a lot that's a separate issue. But for day-to-day females like ourselves, we want to be doing our training, body weight training, to maintain our muscle mass, challenge our body, and that will help build our muscle bank. So it's about putting in our muscle bank. Now, in terms of the repair of those muscles, you know what I'm going to say, protein, our friend protein. And again, rather than having protein supplements or protein drinks, think about using protein that you have to use your teeth for. So trying to use things that you have to use your teeth for, like your chicken breast, if you like cottage cheese, all these things that are high in protein. Cottage cheese, some people love. I personally find it quite challenging, as do many of my clients, whenever we're playing about to find what food they enjoy. So think about things like meats for your protein. Obviously, if you're vegetarian, then we're looking more at the fish side. And then if you're vegan, then you're going to be looking at your beans and pulses. But yeah, really think about how we can get protein in to help our building blocks of our muscles. And you will have seen, if you're on my Instagram, that I've been popping in the different benefits of protein this week and why we need protein. It's so fundamental for our skin elasticity. I can never say that word. And for our immune system too. So there's loads of benefits to protein aside from muscle, but in terms of that muscle degeneration. And you may be thinking, well, why is it important? Why is this person asking? And at the end of the day, we talk about quality of life, and quality of life is being able to, pick up your suitcase when you go on holiday, be able to carry your shopping bags. If I want to, move this fridge freezer, I've got the power to push it and pick up that Ninja or whatever it is. Being that independent woman that you can pick and lift stuff up and do things. I know certainly I've seen with my parents since they moved into a bungalow, even things like stairs have become a challenge for them. So it's really thinking about what it is that's going to work for you, and what it is you want from life and the quality of life you lead. So if muscle degeneration is something you're concerned about, think about training first, and then also repair around eating protein. Okay, let's see. Next question. Next question was around How can I make sure I get protein in? Oh, quite relevant. Whilst I don't like eggs. All right, so there are lots of options. So if you're not a fan of eggs, and I appreciate that some people aren't, there are different ways to get protein in. I just mentioned cottage cheese, and there's yogurt as well. And if you kind of like don't like creamy textures, then there are other things you can do. There's plenty of like pancake recipes, and some use cottage cheese if you can still have that if you can enjoy the pancake without thinking, ooh, this is cottage cheese, then there's lots of recipes. And many pancake recipes have banana in them to try and help kind of bulk them out too. So look at your kind of protein pancakes, your natural ones. You do get ones which ask you to whack in some protein powder, but again, it's up to you whether you want to be using the supplements or not. But certainly in terms of not liking eggs, or maybe it is that you're allergic to eggs and can't have them, then there are plenty of options. There's the cottage cheese, there's protein yogurts you get now. I've just been doing some recipes for a client, and things like herb pork sausages, meats, and yogurts and cottage cheese. Those kind of things all have protein in them. So if you want some recipe ideas, then just drop me a note. No problem at all. One of the other questions I had to just touch on what I mentioned about protein shakes last week from the beautiful Laura was around Huel. What do I think of Huel as a drink because it's in the gyms? Now, for me, Huel is, if I was to think about the branding of it, it's very clever. Huel is the slim fast of the modern world. So they've made it trendy, they made it look sexy, and obviously it's got Stephen Bartlett behind it. He's not my thing. I'm not saying he's sexy. Not for me personally. I know Laura's a fan. But yeah, really it's about the branding of the product. And the thing I'm always cautious around with Huel, again, I'd ask you that question about what is it you want to take it for, why? And when you look at the website, one of the things they talk about is life's busy, life's fast paced, you don't always have time to cook. And this is for me where they're trying to flog it a little bit as a meal replacement. Now, I know they've now got other products, so they have got meals within it too. So it's not just the protein shakes, for example. They've got different meals that they're selling on it. And they talk about the product having all the nutrition you need. So it's got all the vitamins and minerals you need, all the good stuff, protein, high in protein too. But a lot of the Huel products have pea protein in them. Now, if you have not come up against pea protein yet, or actually if you are having it and you think, oh, I've got a bit of IBS type symptoms, it may well be because pea protein doesn't agree with you. It doesn't agree with me, it doesn't agree with many of my clients. And I think one of my clients said, well, my wife was complaining my wind was next level. Okay, so pea protein can cause not everyone can digest these things. It's not something we've always had. So for your system, it might not agree. So that can be terrible wind. It could be bloating, something like that. So again, try it, but see how it tunes in with your body and if it works for you or not. And whilst I say try it, don't rely on it. So don't miss out lunch or breakfast by having one of these liquid things, whether it's Huel, what's the other one they used to have? Herbalife. All these things. I used to take protein shakes myself because it was easy before a workout, but I didn't enjoy them and they really didn't agree with me. And I've kind of stripped all that out personally, stripped it all out, and I just use Whole Foods now. So anything that's trying to sell as a replacement, then I say don't skip your meals for those liquid things. Use things with your teeth. But all it means if you want to try Huel, not necessarily as a meal replacement, but just as something on the go as a bit of a snack, then think about it, but also think about your calorie intake too, because if you're looking to lose weight, these things can be, yes, high in protein, full of nutrition, as they say, but they can also be high in calories. Okay, next question is, how many coffees can I have a day? How much is too much? Now, the thing with coffee is actually it's about your tolerance level. Coffee is very much about how much you have, depends on how tolerant you've become to caffeine. So this, if you might have started off, think back in the day, if you had one coffee, you might be like, oh my God, the caffeine hit. And then before you know it, two creeps in. And then you might be craving a coffee hit, sluggish, actually need another coffee. So you might build in 3 or 4. So gradually, as you have more and more caffeine, then your tolerance to it increases, a bit like with alcohol, right? And then you're able to drink more and more of it, or you need to drink more of it to get the same impact. Now, there is always a debate around whether caffeine's good for you or not. Now, some people need caffeine to get their bowels moving. For some people, they struggle to go in the morning if they've not had their morning coffee. So it's seen as something that actually helps get the digestive system kicked into action and to remove those toxins. My own personal opinion, I've never liked coffee. I've never drunk it. Part of what always put me off is the complexity of coffee shops and the queue, like the whole a double espresso caramel, whatever. Oh, what can't be doing with that? So that's where I'm more a tea fan, straightforward, chai tea done. Right. So the health benefits around coffee, though, some people will rave and say there's health benefits, it does this, it does that. And I mean, coffee is a massive industry, right? And I think you have to think about, well, why do you want the caffeine? Is it because you enjoy it? Is it because you're feeling tired? Is it because you're a bit hungry and you're trying to cut on calories? So instead of having your breakfast, you have a coffee. Coffee does not replace breakfast, and that's going to lead you snacking in the afternoon and evening. So it's really about looking at your relationship with coffee, going, why is it I want it? What is it gives me? How many am I having? Because I see it everywhere now. Everywhere's telling us we need caffeine. It's literally every single shop's got it. Everything's saying caffeine, caffeine. You know, even in the gyms, you know, I posted about the fact they've got double espresso Starbucks and Red Bull and the amount of crap that's in these drinks. And even now you're eating things and it's all about getting caffeine in you because everyone's exhausted running on empty. So now we're all to be jacked up on caffeine. So really just think about, what is your relationship with coffee? Why are you having it? Is it a pick me up because you've had a rubbish night's sleep? What is it you need to maybe change around your health and well-being to stop being so reliant on coffee? Because I know when clients come to work with me, it is a hot topic. I have people negotiating calories of food to have their coffee. And I'm not saying we totally strip it back, but it is a case of looking to reduce it because a lot of people are turning off their hunger cues, not noticing that they're hungry and having the caffeine. And also as females, it plays havoc with our hormones too. So as we go through perimenopause, menopause, the ups and downs, and then you're thrown in the caffeine up and downs, it can get a bit messy. And you can find that coffee doesn't serve you. So again, it's thinking about your relationship with coffee, why you're having it, how does it feel in your body, and maybe look at reducing it down and seeing how that feels and check in with the caffeine headaches. I did see on one forum, a woman talked about she had crazy, actually she felt sick coming off the coffee, proper like withdrawals, and someone else has responded saying, yes, I was the same for the first month. So I'd always say ease off if you're looking to reduce it rather than go all in, because it can be quite intense. Okay, another question I had was around what to drink apart from water and tea, because obviously I talk about water and tea. But if you are craving something fizzy, then by all means you can have some sparkling water. Now, some people say it does cause bloating. You'll know yourself, tune into your body. It's like anything, it's about how much you have. If it does cause you to be bloated. There was a drink I tried at the gym a month ago called, oh, what was it? Vitamin, I'll have to look it up. And it was a can in the gym and it was like vitamin sparkling water flavored. And actually it wasn't too bad. It was quite a big can, so I couldn't drink it all in one go. But yeah, look at your flavored sparkling waters. If you are someone who used to have soft drinks, you know, your Cokes, your Pepsis, your diet drinks particularly. If you're on your diet drinks, try and steer away from them and go for things that are sparkling waters with a flavour in them. Just check the ingredients. Again, there's lots of sweeteners creeping in around stevia. The chemical one is, I can't remember say it, sulfane, and there's different ones that are in there. So really look at the ingredients and see what sweeteners. Stevia is the natural one. The other ones are like the chemical components, and everyone will come out and say, oh, but there's no research to say that they're bad for us. But yeah, but they're relatively new in the grand scheme of things. And I'd also say think about how your body reacts and what agrees with you, because I think this is where we're getting a lot of people with IBS type symptoms, because we're consuming these natural or man-made sweetener alternatives, but they actually don't agree with us. And I've got my husband well trained now. He goes in the back and he's looking, going natural sugar or stevia or the sulfamine. He looks at the back and checks what sweeteners it is in there now. And I've also seen it creeping into like the crunchy nut Kellogg bar, the healthy bars that they're trying to do to avoid sugar tax. You know, got sugar tax in Scotland on soft drinks, which actually is a crux because it makes you buy the bigger bottle because it's cheaper than buying a little one. So it doesn't really work. But yeah, look at what's in them, what's in your soft drink. Fentimans is a really good brand in terms of it just has sugar, no additives. Waitrose own brand full sugar lemonade is another key example. So if you do fancy a you know, a sugary hit, a fizzy drink, that's your thing. You're trying to wean yourself off it. Look at things like ginger beer with vitamins, look at tonic waters. Again, check the ingredients and make sure they're natural. Because as I said, I've seen a lot of people start to have IBS type symptoms, and it can be because of what's in these soft drinks, the sweeteners, natural and non-natural. And again, they're creeping into bars. So at any point you kind of get bad wind or you feel bloated, think about what you've eaten and then look at the ingredients, because olive fructose is a chicory root that has been used in the skinny bars, like I say, that crunchy nut bar it was in. So it's creeping into things because it's sweeter than sugar, and sugar tax, and whether it's actually cheaper than sugar, probably right now. So these things are creeping into our food chain and they may not agree with you, and that's why you might be experiencing those symptoms. All right, team, I've spoken a little bit over again, but it's my favorite session, this one. I love answering your questions. So keep your questions coming in. Like I say, muscle. So to Kat, we've only covered 3 this evening, but one was about maintaining muscle. Think about training your body weight with weights, and getting protein in to fuel your body, not just for the muscles, but also for your skin, for your immune system, all the great things that protein does. And then in terms of if you don't like eggs, there are lots of other ways to get protein in. Like I say, Greek yogurt, high protein yogurt, there's loads of protein pancake recipes. And like I say, I've just been pulling together some ideas for my client, and there's things like sausages too. And then when it comes to Huel and other drinks along those lines, don't use them as a replacement for your meal. If you want to try them, then do, but watch out for the pea protein. Fizzy drinks, watch out for the artificial sweeteners, the natural sweeteners, and really if they work for your body or if they irritate your body. Tune in, connect with the body, what works, what doesn't. Thank you for joining. Appreciate you. Hashtag replay if you're watching the replay. Pop your questions in all week long. You don't have to wait till Friday. And then let me know how you're finding these, if you're finding them helpful, if the time works for you is 5:30 better, and let me know what time works for you and any other questions. Enjoy your weekend, and I shall catch you next week.